The people shouting bust for Levshinov, the people shouting bust for Bedard, people shouting, man, looks like we really whiffed on Oliver Moore. Dude's never played a professional game yet. Like, guys and gals, like, we got to have a little bit of perspective on these things.
Yep.
Not every player that is drafted is going to be a superstar right away. Not every player that is drafted is even going to be in the NHL. So you have to take these things with perspective. And I think, like you were saying, like, guys kind of just in the last 15 years of the Blackhawks, some of these guys just kind of came in and were automatically good, but it's because you had a team that was a Stanley Cup contender around them.
Right.
They don't have that. So these guys have to, I bring it back to that, what was it, Cubs on Third or whatever it's called?
Yeah.
That account, that really long thing that they went through. I bring it back to that again because it was really good perspective of looking at the parallels of how those 2010s teams were built and the timeline of everything and where we're at now. Some similarities, some differences, but I still think it's within the same viewpoint of, like, this is pre-Kane and Tays levels of Blackhawks hockey right now, where we're at currently. So those young guys still have to develop. They still have to get here. We still have to get the young Jarmelson up here, the young Patrick Sharp here. We still have to get the young Dave Bolland here, and then you have a group that you can look at and say, oh, it looks like this team's on a young team on the rise again.
Well, and we're
just not here yet.
There's also prospects that almost never get talked about. If you saw Frank Saravalli on the pregame show, he was talking about Levshinov and calling him the most important prospect of this rebuild because he said, if he's your third defenseman behind Alex Vlasic and Sam Renzel, who I fully believe is a number 1 of 1 NHL defenseman, that's Frank Saravalli's opinion, not mine. He thinks that he's convinced that Sam Renzel is a number 1 NHL defenseman.
Sam Renzel.
So if your top 4 is him,
very good,
Vlasic, Korchinski, and Levshinov,
yeah,
that's a really good start because you still got Nolan Allen, you still got Ethan Del Mastro, you still got Seth Jones to be on your bottom pair. Like, you've got, and by the way, just to rehash, the last defenseman chosen second overall was Simon Nemec from the Devils.
Yeah.
He was drafted in 2022. That year, played 65 games in Utica, 34 points in 65 games. Came up the next year and split time between Utica and New Jersey. And then this year, his split time between Utica and New Jersey, more games in Utica this year. So that is a number 2 overall pick, defenseman, a really good organization that's playing well and is not realized his full NHL self yet.
Yeah.
Like, the things, like, there's good signs with him, obviously. Looks like a good young player, but it's not like drafted second overall, an immediate superstar.
Right.
Even at the AHL level, he had 34 points in 65 games is good. You know, played well, but it wasn't like mind-blowing numbers.
Right, yeah.
And it's a guy who came from 3 straight years with Nitra in Slovakia instead of going from USHL to college to AHL to NHL, jumping up and down all over the place like Levshinov was doing.
Yeah. Just
go back through the history before you start declaring guys busts after a handful of NHL games. Yeah, and just look at the realistic paths of NHL defensemen.
We all silly like the mayor.